This morning's project is working on these import adjustable parallels. I think I got them from Shars. Pretty sure I got them from Shars. And they're alright, I guess, for the price that you pay. They're certainly not great. When you first get them, they're full of grinding sludge, and they really grind back and forth when you operate them. They seem to require a lot of screw pressure to keep them locked where you want them locked. The fit's not really all that great. Of course, I had to take them all apart and stone all the sharp edges and put them back together. These Phillips screws that they use are cheese grade, and you can't put enough torque on them to lock these parallels down without them just stripping right out, even with the correct size Phillips head. It's ridiculous. So I did some measuring, and I got some 3x4 cheese head screws to replace the cheese grade screws, and I couldn't get them to work. I just assumed import metric, right? And they just wouldn't work. So I broke out my taps and dies and tried to do some more measuring, and what I came up with was 448 Imperial, and it seems like they actually made these with 48 TPI. The screws that I found, let's see, 4x48 by a quarter. Yeah, it's a pan head or a cheese head, I guess. So anyways, the head on the 448 screws is too big for the countersink in the parallels. So I cut a few down on the lathe, and they work. They work okay. But the amount of torque that you need to put on them to lock these things down, and also, I don't know if you can make this out, there's a lot of play in these. They're just not very well made. I mean, big surprise, right? But you really have to kind of torque these screws down pretty hard to get them to lock in place. And I got to thinking, well, I got a couple old Brown and Sharp adjustable parallels. Are they the same way? No, they are not. These have tiny little single slot screws in them, and with just a little teeny bit of a twist, you can move these, and these are tight. I mean, they're really well made and high tolerance, and then just a little twist of the screw, and they're right where you need them to be. Incidentally, this one that's larger, if you can make this out, has a radius on the top and the bottom surface. I don't know if they made them that way, or the machinist whose initials are there, if he did that. It'd be interesting to find out. Look that up. But I thought that radius was kind of interesting there. But anyhow, so both of these old Brown and Sharp parallels, they're great. Little teeny twist of the screw, lock down. You're not going to wallow out the screw. In fact, the depth of the screw slot in these is almost non-existent. The screw is not, it's flush with the back, and I guess that's why you pay more for premium tools. So anyhow, I'm going to turn down a bunch more of these 448 screws, and I'm going to put them all in the import parallels, and we'll see how that works out. These screws are a bit long, so they stand proud of the back surface, which is certainly not ideal if you need this to lay flush against anything, so I'm gonna have to figure out something there. It's kind of hard to hold these by the head end and shorten them, so maybe I'll file them in place. I don't know. Can't see. Did you see that? This was tightened down, and I moved it a little bit, and like, because it's not finally, what's the word? Because of the tolerance, it had tightened in a position where it wasn't. I don't know how to say it, but as soon as I put any pressure on these, it went click, and now they're just loose again. So let's try to put another 20 pounds of 20 foot-pounds of force on them. There we go. Anyways, are they worth it? I don't know. If you just need something cheap, you don't mind taking them apart and cleaning them up and, you know, fooling with them. I'm gonna buy quality ones the next time I need them. It's just, you know, if I need one for a particular size or a particular job, hopefully I can just buy singles, because this is just kind of ridiculous. But you know, you get what you pay for, right? So, all right, over to the lathe and make a couple screws. All right, I have the lathe set up with a 7/64 collet, and we'll just take a little skim cut off of some of these 448 screws and get the right head size here. That'll work. You have to be careful in a situation like this when you have limited space behind the head of the screw and in front of the collet. You have to be careful not to get your file jammed in between the two, or it can send the file straight back at you and cause all kinds of problems. Snap a file, impale you with a file, you know, send a file through your hand. Of course, always have a handle on it too, but this burr seems to be wrapping around the backside, so I'm going to put these back in the collet a little bit further out and try to get that burr out of there. Alright, now I've got the new screws turned down to the appropriate size for the countersink in the parallel, but they stand proud of the back. There's probably a more elegant way to do this, but I'm tightening the screw to the point where I know that the parallel, well, the screw is in as far as it can go, and putting them in my vise here, taking a nice long flat file and just cutting down the head of the screw. I know there's a better more elegant way to do this. But let's just say I wouldn't do this on a set of Brown and Sharp or Starrett parallels, because I'm gonna hit the edges of the parallel some, and you know, again, it's just not the most elegant solution. But okay, now that I have it flat, take a piece of emery, make sure there's no high spots. Ideally, I'd like the head of the screw to be subsurface a little bit, but you know what? That's good enough. All right. Now I'll loosen up the screw, draw the threads back into the body of the parallel, tighten it again, and it will have raised a little burr on the back. I don't know if you can see that. So put it back in the vise again. And hit it with slightly finer grade of emery. And I'm going to call that good enough. I'm already starting to booger up the head of the screw there. And I am using the appropriate tip width for this particular screw. So they're just not very good parallels. They require too much pressure to stay clamped, and you know, I don't know. But if you want cheap and quick, this definitely fits the bill. So at the end of the day, are these cheap import adjustable parallels worth it? My answer is a bit of a cop-out. If you're a hobbyist, yeah, they could be worth it. If you don't mind doing the extra work to smooth them up, clean them up, replace the screws, I mean, that's kind of the stuff you do as a hobbyist anyways. So yeah, they could be worth it. For somebody who makes their living in the shop, are they worth it? To me, no. These Brown and Sharp adjustable parallels are just superior in every way. Will I keep these in the shop? Will I keep the cheapies in the shop? Now that I have them, yes. I'll keep them in the shop. Look at that. No movement on the Brown and Sharp. On the import, the bigger they are, the sloppier they are. I don't know if that translates, but look at you can see the size of the crack in there. It just gets bigger and bigger. So anyhow, yeah, I'll keep them. I'll use them for quick and dirty work, things where I'm not worried about harming the tool. Perhaps in some way that I could grind them up and use them for, you know, one-off jobs. I wouldn't want to do that with the little Brown and Sharp parallels. So yeah, I'll keep them around. I don't remember what the price is, or the price that I paid, but I'll put that down in the doobly-doo, as Avi would say. And yeah, I don't think I'd buy these again. I think I'd buy a quality set and spend the money once and spend the money right. These have just been an exercise in making something that's not quite right work. And there are certain things I'm willing to do that for, you know, in the shop, but this isn't one of them. So if you want something quick and dirty, thumbs up. If you want something quality and you want to buy it once and have it work right from the beginning, thumbs down. That's where I am with these. That's where I am with these adjustable parallels. If you have a different experience, please let me know. Drop me a comment and let me know your thoughts. And with that, I'm back to work, and I'll see you next time.